The next phase of our exterior elevations is going to be our doors. If you're reading the document, we create all of our doors on a brand new layer called doors, and we want to color that color green. We don't do doors as blocks because we're only going to have 2 or 3 different instances, and it's just a little bit quicker to draw those on our own. We want to create that layer over here in AutoCAD. We want to call it doors. And then after you've created it, change the color to green and also set it as your current layer. When we look at the dimensions of this front door, it tells us that the door is 6 feet wide with 4-inch trim on both sides. It doesn't tell me where that door actually goes. Well, I already know where that door goes. Back here in AutoCAD, my external reference tells me that the door I'm trying to draw is the one in the foyer, and so I'm going to be drawing that one right there. I also, in looking closely at my drawing, missed one of my windows. I'm going to have to go and place that one up there in my first floor floor plan, or second floor floor plan. Doors first though. Let's go ahead and create a line from the midpoint of this bottom edge coming straight up. I know that it's the midpoint because our columns are spaced directly in line with our door. When I say in line, over here in the book, we're actually going to find out that the panels match up perfectly with our column caps. Let's go back to CAD and we'll draw. All right, my doors are 6 feet wide, so I want to take this center line and I want to offset it both ways by 3 feet. Once I have that done, I have the exterior sides of my door. I want to now offset both of those newer lines out by 4 inches for my trim. I also want to offset them both 6 inches inside for that interior door panel. That door panel happens to be 2 feet wide, so I want to offset each of those new lines 2 feet in. So I'm going to have 3 vertical lines on the right, 3 in the middle, and 3 on the left. For my horizontal lines, for the bottom of the panel, I want to offset this top little stair line up by 1 foot. I also want to offset that same one up by 6 feet 8 inches. That's the standard height of a residential door. If you went and took a tape measure to your door, you'd probably find that the majority of them are 6 feet 8. Your entry door might be a little bit taller. Just shows me that you're fancy. All right, now from here, I want to offset that line up by 4 inches for the rest of my trim. And I've got some fancy trimming that I need to do. I'm going to start with the outside of the door itself. The outside of the door is this line and this line and this line. So I just want to fillet those 3 to get them to be nice and long and know exactly where they go, and it'll set up the rest of my drawing for success. You'll notice that when I filleted though, these lines stopped for that window that's up above. Well, that's fine with me. What I wanted to do though was first fillet that so I can then trim off these lines up above and these lines throughout that trim panel so I don't get confused in where they go. Right, now I can just draw a line from this one up as well as from over here up, and now I can just fillet the top edge. However you do it, if you trim, extend, fillet, it's up to you, that's fine. This here just sets me up for success. Now I want to trim out inside of my column. I know that I will not have any of my lines extend beyond my column. I won't be able to see them, so I should trim them there and delete. This inner one though, for my panel, I need to keep. This is what I was talking about. In the book, it shows me that my panel happens to come inside of my column cap. Well, based on the math that we have here, that's false. And so I need to keep it here in my drawing. I also need to add in a new line that comes down below those, 6 inches below this trim board up top. So offset this one down by 6 inches. I can now simply fillet the top to get my panel, fillet these bottom edges to get my panel. But when I did so, it got rid of my horizontal lines from the bottom and the top for my right panel. So again, I'll just draw some lines across, and then when I use my fillet, it'll clean them on up. All right, trim out over here. Get rid of those little extensions that come down into our column, and that concludes the foyer's front door. On page 2 of our door PDF, we'll find that we have the garage door over here in our west elevation. One thing about this door in my west elevation is that it doesn't tell me where that door is located or how wide it is. Again, we're drawing the same home just from different views. And so I have that door right here. I can simply just draw 2 lines straight down from the edges of that door. And that'll give me the door's width and location based on my actual west elevation. The height of that door, it tells me, is 6 feet 8 inches tall, and it has 5-inch trim all the way around. This is a pretty easy one. What we're gonna do is just offset this bottom line up by 6 feet 8 inches, fillet, trim across the bottom, and then offset out by 5 inches. Clean up your corners. And then let's go ahead and look at the next page. The next page in here talks about the thicknesses of residential door pages, or door sizes. And then on the actual next page, page 3, it's going to set us up for our door window. We're going to have a little bit of a window sticking out through there. After that, it tells us what we could do in actual AutoCAD about grips and edits, and if we held shift and if we moved things. But what we're actually trying to accomplish is getting this window into our garage. So if you go all the way back up to page 3, we're going to be basing it off of these dimensions. From the outside of the door in, we're going to offset in 6 inches, left, top, and right side. Then we will offset those lines 8 inches in for each, and then down 1 foot 4. So back in AutoCAD, we'll start by offsetting over by 6 inches, then 8 inches, then 8 inches again, and one more at 8 inches. If we did our math, this would be 6 inches here. From the top, we want to offset that one down 6 inches, the new one down 1 foot 4, and the last one down 1 foot 4. I think it's easier just to trim these ones on up, trim off the bottom, and pretty much just trim around that window. And that gives us our window for our garage door. The last door that we have to draw is going to be on the porch from the south elevation, right here in front of our 2 columns. Well, this door happens to be the same exact door as this one here in our garage. And so I just need to get it placed over here. What I do is I just draw myself a temporary line from this door's midpoint. Now I don't have a midpoint here, so I draw a line from endpoint to endpoint, and then I draw another line from the midpoint of that temporary line I just drew, and I just draw it straight down. I take this door, I move it from the door's upper midpoint, and I move it over till I intersect right here with this line. All I need to do now is get rid of that temporary line, trim inside of my column caps, and then delete those little extensions beyond. Now this door seems really short. That's because we can't copy straight over. Remember, oh, I moved it as well. We can't copy straight over because our garage is 1 foot 4 inches shorter or lower than our actual front door or than our porch. So we need to copy and move up. So I'm first going to copy just over. I'm going to now move. And if you want to move it the exact distance, you could choose the bottom of your garage and move it to the top of your porch. And now we can move from the midpoint of that door over here to our intersection. Delete your temporary line, trim inside of your column caps, and delete those little extensions that stick down below. One more door that we have is all the way over here in the back of our garage. It happens to be the same door that we have in the front as well as our garage over here. Again, by drawing a temporary line from the middle of that door, so endpoint to endpoint, draw a new line from the midpoint. Okay. We can copy our original door all the way over to that intersection. Now, when we get here, it looks good, except for the fact that when we're in our garage, we have to step up 2 steps to get to the floor line of our mudroom. So what I want to do is move this door from the bottom of my garage up to that correct height, and then simply draw a line going across the bottom. Now that concludes our doors for exterior elevations.